Wallo rushed to the scene to see who the suspect was because the feds were holding them right there. They called Gillie and said, "We got your son suspect. We got your son suspect. Come down here to identify him." Wallo immediately pulled up in the Ferrari, red. He opened the door and everything like that. He jumped out. He couldn't believe it. When they took the dude's mask off, it was somebody that they knew all along. It was somebody that was hating on YNG Cheese, Gillie, and Wallo that seen him at the corner store the last time before they got the $100 million. And when they heard that they got the 100 mil, that's when they started plotting against him, man. I want to send my condolences to YNG Cheese. There's a lot of haters out there, man. A lot of people did not want to see Gillie and Wallo winning, man. And the fact that they had to go and basically hide out and in the same area, in the same neighborhood as where Gillie and Wallo do the podcast at, man. Man, this is crazy, man. YNG Cheese never deserved anything like this. I want you guys to understand that they just got the justice for YNG Cheese, man. And Gillie and Wallo, they looking at going and pursuing the complete full charges to the fullest extent of the law on the dude that did this to him. Because at the end of the day, they're going to set an example for this. Philly already spoke out. They said, "Hey, it's not Philly that did this. It's just a bad apple from one of the dudes in the streets and everything. Don't let what one person's mistake actually ruin everybody else's chances and opportunity, because Philly still supports Gillie and Wallo. They want to see him win." All the people were talking about, yeah, the famous podcaster's son, Philly's biggest celebrity, Philly's biggest hero right now. And when they did this to him, man, it was somebody from their own hood. This is why when you get the bag, you have to move out the hood. Like the fact that Gillie still had his son out there in the streets and everything, he should have sat him down and told him, "I know you a 25-year-old man, but you're going to have to listen to this advice. I'm only trying to do this to better your entire life, man, so that he could last longer." But the thing is a lot of people, they get infatuated. They get hypnotized by these streets. People still think it's cool to be the tough guy, to be the street dude, and have all this acceptance from the guys in the neighborhood that's not doing anything that's positive. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that Gillie da Kid and his friends, they went out there, they stood on that sidewalk, whoever they were waiting for, the people said that they were standing outside for like at least 30 minutes, man. You can't just be a millionaire's son and just be standing outside for 30 minutes with no security or anything like that. And his friends, they couldn't help him at all. His friends could do nothing for him. YNG Cheese, man, a lot of people got to understand that it's every man for himself. No one can help you, man. Even if you a millionaire and your dad got $100 million, your friends are still going to run when things go down. They still going to fend for themselves. They're going to think about them instead of thinking about you. And this is why you can't trust nobody, and you got to be careful out here, especially when you got a lot to lose like YNG Cheese. It don't even make sense for him going back to his old stomping grounds and standing in the hood, the same place that they used to freestyle at. They were trying to do some type of video or maybe some type of post for social media, but all that playing and for Instagram and trying to make it look like you still in the hood, rapping and everything like that. Because you got to understand, that's what YNG Cheese and his friend and Mac and Cheese, that's what they do. That's what the rappers do. They go to the hood and they do a cipher so that when they post it, people could think that they're coming out of that neighborhood and not that he already had money, because a lot of these celebrities and these rappers' kids, they don't want people to think that they got the money from their dad and then made a career. Just like Boosie's son, Tootie Rod, just like T.I.'s son, King. They all try to do all these bad things. They try to make these wrong friends that are from the hood or go and get themselves into trouble. They always doing something where they end up getting themselves into trouble, all while trying to chase the acceptance of these people from the neighborhood, man. It ain't that serious. You don't have to be thought of as the coolest person in the world. You don't have to be out here gangbanging to be the coolest person. That stuff is from the 90s. You could leave it there too, because at the end of the day, why would you rather not just focus on making sure you survive another day and making sure you make ends meet so you could take care of your family and take care of your kids and everything like that? Like, that's way more important than gangbanging, than whatever neighborhood you from. Your family should be way more important than that. And at the end of the day, People will still snake their families out for their hood. People will still slime out their brothers, sisters, moms, and dads for their hood. And it don't make sense, because why is it that everybody giving the loyalty to the streets and they not giving no loyalty to their family? They not giving no loyalty to the game. They not doing nothing. They not even actually saying anything about how grateful they are to be able to wake up another day. Instead, they go and take another risk and really try to make it look like they don't deserve to be around. Like the fact that a lot of people got their focus wrong, man. It's like at a certain point, you got to be able to level up. There's a certain point where you don't have to do the things you have to do anymore. Once you learn, once you grow out of that whole entire mindset, you got to understand that it's moving on to bigger and better things, man. And so this is a message to all the people, all the youth, that you do not have to actually be back into your and go back to the hood, to the old stomping grounds to get acceptance. Like if you're going to do anything like that, do it to give back to the community. Do it when you got security with you. Do it where you got more control of the situation. Because if you keep popping up in these wrong places, eventually you're going to get caught up by the wrong people at the wrong time. And it's a lot of people out here that don't understand that it still goes down in the streets, man. In Philly and Oldney, whatever hood, you could still get it. So just being anywhere outside at any time, things could still go down. So why go into certain places that's going to increase the likelihood and the chance of something actually happening to you? Like, why even go and test those waters when you know what's going to happen? You played around with the streets. You know what is going to happen to you. But I want to send my condolences to YNG Cheese, because he didn't see this coming. He was innocent. He was trying to make his music career and everything like that. But people still, he wasn't in the mindset to not be going back to that area. If he was really trying to be a successful career, that ain't going to help him. Being in that street, being out at night like that, hanging around the wrong hood, asking for something to happen, being there as a sitting duck. That's not the smart way to move, because you could be whatever you want, but you got to move the right way. If you don't move the right way, then this is where you're going to have holes in your hole in the entire way that people can set you up. They're going to see the little parts where you lacking at. You don't want to get caught slipping because of the way you move. So that's why it's the most important thing. You got to take security, and you got to take like actual care of the way that you're moving around. You got to be able to make sure that you got to be one step ahead of the game. You got to make sure nobody's following you. Nobody's trying to trap you, slip you up, catch you slipping, tripping, or anything like that. Because with money, greed, fame, envy, jealousy, all of that added in, mixed in, is what makes people want to go after you and get you. A lot of people, you pass them up, they get salty and they come after you. They try to take down what you built up. A lot of people where if they can't get to if they couldn't get to Gillie and Wallo, then this is why maybe they got to his son or anything like that. It's still people out there who don't see this. This is a wake up call to everybody. You have to change the ways you move around, or else this could have happened to any single person. How many people do they just aimlessly walk into the hood, man? There's a lot of people who moved out the hood and they still going back, and they trying to make it seem like it's their playground. The hood is not a playground, man. It's a place where you could live and everything. But at the end of the day, you have to survive and make it better and get out of it, or at least recreate it to something where everybody else is helping in to build the community better and stronger. That should be the only reasons you come around and you stay around, because you actually making your presence worthwhile. But anytime you in the hood and nobody, you didn't check in with nobody, no one knows what you're doing, they might think of you as a threat. Those dudes that took out YNG Cheese, if they didn't actually know him fully, they might have thought that he was a threat, somebody else gaining on their territory. You don't know what kind of things go on in the streets, what they're doing, the things they selling. So when somebody pops up on the corner and stands there for 30 minutes, then they think that you already intruding and stepping on their toes and coming in. So that's why they spun the block and looked around. They got lookouts. They got people on the corner houses. They got people who ride their bikes, and they lookouts for the big dogs who's trying to make sure everything is going according to plan by the operation that they got going on and putting on. It's a lot of things that go on in the hood. It's a lot of things. It could be dangerous. It could be sketchy. It's not nothing that you want to go out there and walk. It's not a park to walk in. If you need somewhere to hang out, if you need to go walk somewhere around, go to a park, go somewhere else, don't be walking around aimlessly in neighborhoods that you already know what's up, where people are gonna get upset, they're gonna get heated that you didn't check in, or they're gonna think that you feds or you doing something, where they come and they think you a lookout trying to break into their house or something like that and take their stash. So they hurry up and get the drop on you before you could do anything, because you didn't announce yourself. You was unannounced. They didn't know what your thoughts and plans were. So they just went ahead and say, you know what? We're not even going to try to figure out what you want. We just go ahead and get you out the way. And this is the sad reality in the situation of what's going on. And that's why I want to send my condolences to YNG Cheese, Gillie da Kid, and Wallo.